Hello, everybody. Okay, so let me tell you a very good idiom, and it's called to be run off your feet. At the moment, I'm a little run off my feet, and if you are ran off your feet, you are extremely tired because you've been doing a lot. So at the moment, I'm teaching English in Okanagan College, which is just down the road from me. On top of that, I serve coffee. I'm a barista. On top of that, I am doing some content writing for a friend. So at the moment, I have about 3 or 4 different jobs going on. I also have a lot of physiotherapy because I'm still recovering from my knee surgery. So in any one day, I have 5 different places to be in the space of 12 hours. And it does get a little confusing, and I'm rushing to a lot of places. And even tonight, I'm actually going to go to a drama production, like a sort of audition thing, which I'm super excited for. But overall, I'd say this week, I am run off my feet. Now, it's not necessarily negative. It just means I'm extremely busy. If you see a mother with 3 children, they're probably run off their feet. So can you think of a time when you were so tired because you had so much work to do, or you had a lot of physical work to do in one day? Sometimes if you work in the retail sector or you work in a bar, you're probably going to be run off your feet if it gets busy. You're going to be running over here, over there, trying to do this and trying to do that. Lots of things. Anyways, the main reason I wanted to do this very quick recording and podcast was to talk about some phrasal verbs with the word take. So the first one is to take after somebody. If you take after a person, what do you think it means? So my name is Ronan. I take after my father. He is very tall. I take after my father because we're both bald. Well, I'm not bald yet, but I'm going bald. I take after my father because I have very poor eyesight. So there's 3 examples of how I take after my father physically. I take after my mother because I'm a teacher. My mother is also a teacher. I take after my mother because I'm quite impatient, which would definitely be my mother as well. Not good for teaching, but it is what it is. So overall, to take after somebody basically means you have a similar appearance or a similar personality. I take after my father. We're both 6'1", we both weigh the same, and we're both very athletic, for example. I take after my mother, or I take after my mother in personality because I like to help people, so on, so forth. So who do you take after? The next one. To take something apart. To take something apart is when you need to break it into smaller pieces. All right? If you are going to move a table, you might want to take it apart first. If you can remove the legs, that's going to help you pack it into a moving truck, for example. So to take something apart is to separate it into different parts. Now, another example of it could be a figurative term for a sporting event. For example, Barcelona, they took the other team apart. They scored 5 goals in 20 minutes. The Irish rugby team took the Italians apart last week. We bet them by 60 points, for example. So to take apart can have a literal meaning or a figurative meaning. The next one is to take something down. So if you go camping, you need a tent. You pitch your tent, you put it up, you sleep in your tent, and then the next day you need to take down your tent. Take the tent down. So it's actually one which we can separate into 2. Take down the tent or take the tent down. And that is another way to say just dismantle it. How do we use it for a question? Hey Ronan, did you take down the tent yet? I think someone needs to take down this tent. Now, if you're listening to this podcast, I strongly recommend that you take the information down on a piece of paper. So when you're in school, you take down notes. When you're watching a video on YouTube, if you're learning on YouTube, a lecture in history, geography, English, French, whatever it is, you should take down notes. And let's see, to take off. The airplane will take off. What time does the plane take off? The passenger asked. Take off is just a phrasal verb for, well, just to fly into the air. So if you are a pilot, you take off. Now, we could also use take off for a business or for a product, for a music group, or for someone who's very famous. Facebook took off a couple of years ago, and now it's a gigantic website. If someone has a new video, a viral video, you could say, wow, that person's video really took off. It got extremely popular, extremely fast. So the takeoff can be a plane leaving. It can be a very successful product or something that got popular very fast, or even a person. Justin Bieber took off a couple of years ago. He went sky high and he flew too close to the sun. The last one, it could be to leave a place suddenly. John arrived at the party. He looked around and then he took off. So if you take off, you leave somewhere very, very fast. Okay? So there you go. Some phrasal verbs for you. To take after somebody, take something apart, take something down, and to take off. Hope you guys learnt something. If you have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, have a great day. And right now, I'm going to go take off and go to a drama audition. Hope I break a leg. Take care, people.